everyone, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I am doing the reading for Leo for December 2018. Thanks for joining me. It's early in the morning here, and as I walk downstairs, I get to see Venus just so bright in the sky. It was really cool. Okay, so let me focus here. So, happy holidays, and I just have been telling the other signs. Don't forget your favorite tarot reader or astrologer this holiday season. Readings make great gifts because it's usually not something someone will splurge on for themselves. But most people really enjoy getting a reading. Yeah, and I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not even saying me. Just there's tons of great people on YouTube. All right, let's get to your reading, Leo. Oops. So 'tis the season for things like New Year's resolutions. And I sort of see that in here for you guys, that this month you will be, making some decisions. At the bottom of the deck, and this is the after tarot, so it shows the scene right after the traditional Rider-Waite picture we're used to seeing. So this is exactly how I've always seen this card. And so in the Rider-Waite, it's someone with these 10 rods on his back or her back. And I would always say when this would come up, it's like just throw the whole bundle down and look at it and only pick up those rods which are actually yours to carry. Because it symbolizes to me, it's almost like being too nice or um, codependent or whatever. You can use all sorts of different words, but basically being too nice and taking on responsibilities or feeling guilty or worried about what people think about you. And so you're always the one that brings stuff into work and makes brownies for the kids' school and um, takes care of the relatives. And I'm not saying don't do those things, but be much more selective about it and really scrutinize whether you really have to do it. Weigh what else is going on in your life. So there's going to be a lightening because you are going to do this and you're going to be like, something's got to give. And right in the middle, this card's touching every other card in the reading in this middle position, so it's influencing it. So this is a judgment. This is an awakening. So maybe you're like, maybe I'm exhausted all the time because I overextend myself. Or maybe I need to have some conversations with people in my life and either ask them for help or what's the word? Renegotiate. Lots of people don't even negotiate in relationships. They just assume the woman will cook, the guy will do the lawn or whatever. Usually it's not long stereotypical lines because that's how a lot of us are raised. But I hate cooking. So I'm going to, I'm single, but I will talk in my next relationship. Hey, can we talk about cooking and cleaning? Like, can we take turns? Can we make a schedule? What do you like doing? What do you hate doing? Oh, I actually don't hate doing laundry. And you don't hate doing the dishes. Well, maybe that, you know what I mean? And you can bring stuff like, and this can be anywhere in your life, even be at work. If maybe you're the one that's always pulling up the slack. That's not how you say it. Taking up the slack, you know what I mean? For other people, you can talk about that. It doesn't have to be whining. It doesn't have to be complaining, or even throwing anyone under the bus. Although maybe someone needs to be thrown under the bus. And so renegotiating some things in your life, it could even be a wake up call for yourself. Like, um, some people make themselves really busy and then they don't have time for the harder important things like being healthy, getting exercise, spending time with people. You know what I mean? Um, some sort of wake up call that will affect every area of your life. There is a choice to be made too. This lovers card, yes, it's lovers, it's partnerships, it's all those things, but to me, I think it used to be called the choice. I heard somewhere in some deck. So if anyone knows if I'm right or wrong, feel free to put it in the comments. So I like to look at it like, okay, great, you're going to get married to someone. So on your wedding day, you stand up in front of everyone. Do you take so and so? Blah, 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 blah. I do. Well, great. That's, good for you. But the way you show you're truly committed to someone is by making little choices all the time for the rest of your life, choosing that person. It doesn't mean you always choose that person because that would be too much. You have to choose for yourself sometimes. And that can be hard to find that balance. And we do have this temperance card. Like maybe some of us feel like we have to give all of ourselves to relationships to make them work because on some level we feel not worthy, unworthy of someone. So we go to extremes, and then it sort of sets up this relationship where the other person, and not necessarily their fault, thinks, oh, she just likes to do everything, or he just likes to do everything. So people don't like to do everything. I'm just gonna put that out there. But you're looking for more balance in your life, and this is a good way to see what you're truly committed to, or someone else is truly committed to. Because if they mostly choose going out with their friends, or um, whatever it is, over you, like a majority of the time, that's what they're committed to. They're committed to their friends, they're committed to their job, they're committed to something else. And vice versa. If they choose you, oh no, I want to hang out with you, I want to do stuff with you. Again, not to an unhealthy degree, then they are committed to you. They're committed to treating you well. And as such, with something like the Judgment card and the Lovers, like this, there's this theme of reassessing and figuring things out. And I think Mercury's retrograde, but just for a little bit in December. But again, the end of the year tends to bring on this reevaluation of how things are going. And it fits with this Three of Wands is kind of zooming out and getting a big higher perspective. I mean, it may be like, maybe I want to move. Maybe I don't like this career anymore. Who knows? But you're kind of, if things have been a struggle, it's also the same. Like now, I know things are really hard right now. And when things are like crazy at work and maybe there's some tension at home and something else is going on, it can feel like I can't deal with this. This is never going to get better. So it's good to sort of zoom out and say, okay, that's only really been like this for 3 months. It wasn't always this way. It doesn't always have to be this way. We do go through some bumpy patches. But it can also be like, okay, I'm not so sure I like where I am now. So where do I want to go? Where have I been? Where am I now? Where do I want to go? And how do I make some changes to make that happen? And it's interesting because you are moving away from something, someone or something. You are, there's something that's causing you, I'm sorry, I just woke up, so I'm a little stuffy and nasally. There is something where you realize is a bit unhealthy. And again, these can be your own behaviors, other people, some sort of situation. You might not like your child's daycare, and you're finally like, you know what? this is why am I allowing and staying in something that isn't healthy? And so this is making a decision to move away into calmer waters. You can tell if every time you drop your kid off at this fictitious daycare I'm making up, or go to the gym, or even it could be your job, or even friends, even your significant other. If you leave like depressed or upset or angry, sure, one, you can say, why do I let it bother me? And work on that, because that's a very useful skill, is not to allowing other people to influence your mood. But sometimes it's just the way it is because they're super toxic, and you need to figure out what you're going to do. And it looks like to me you're making this judgment to move away from the situation, and it is going to bring more balance into your life. And something about it, it really is like you're gaining some wisdom from the situation on some level. That's what this Hierophant is like. So you just hear something and something sticks. It doesn't have to be from the Dalai Lama. It doesn't have to be from the Bible or whatever you're into. It could just be from someone casually saying something to you while you're standing in line at the grocery store. Sometimes those are the ones that you're kind of like, oh, a song lyric from a song you've heard a million times all of a sudden strikes you. And it helps you really put things in perspective. And so there's a lot of wisdom that you're going to gain this month that you can then carry with you. It'll be a part of you. Once you have those flashes of insight, you carry it with you and you get to use it for the rest of your life. And so it's so valuable that way. This is another interesting card in this deck. I'm saving some nice cards here. I mean, these aren't not nice cards, but you have some sweet cards coming up. I really like this depiction because the Five of Wands is often conflict or competition, and the people are all sparring. And here it's actually someone teaching, almost like a sports type situation, like teaching them how to defend themselves. And you could see, had you just looked at the situation from the other card, it could have potentially gone either way. But in this after tarot, it's like, no, they were being taught. They were being instructed, I guess. So maybe you'll find a new teacher. Maybe you do martial arts, or I don't know why that came up, probably because of the sparring. Some sort of, you take lessons in something and you're going to move to a different teacher. Maybe you yourself are going to become a teacher in some way with something that you really love. Also, maybe learning a skill, like some sort of mediation or people skills, some sort of training in that, where you can, like at work or even within your own family, it can be applied to anything, are able to get people to work together that seem to be at odds. So these last two cards here is an offer of love, an offer of that will give you a positive emotional response, changes in how you feel. So these changes you're making when you're assessing, what are you or someone else committed to? What's your wake-up call? What do you need to move away from? How do you bring balance to your life? One quick word about balance. I don't feel like you achieve balance and then you like check it off your list. And I think it can be a source of frustration and negativity because it's like I can never be balanced. I feel like I'm doing well and then I get a text or something happens and I am thrown off again. I think it's very few people who, even if anyone, can be balanced all the time. So just to understand, It's not a destination, and that it's okay to be thrown, and that's normal, and to be able to deal with that in a healthier way. To me, that's balance. But this will usher in better emotions. So you're making the right choice. You're making you're making the right choice this month in shuffling things around in your life, letting go of some things, making time and space for other things. And it could be a love interest. It's going to be a man or woman. This is a water sign, but you kind of have to be careful because people's charts, most people do their sun sign. Ascendant sign is usually almost more descriptive of a person. And then there, I mean, so astrological charts are so complex. Yeah. So if you think, well, that person's not a water sign, don't get too hung up on it. But they could be. So how's that for hedging? This is also feeling really emotionally mature and inside. So you may just be really in touch with your emotions and listening to them instead of being like, oh, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel stressed. I don't want to feel bored or shut down or what all the other emotions. I need to listen to them, realize they're there for a reason, process them, work through them, and then make some decisions, not based in this guy is, he's the he's the king, so he's mature. He doesn't get an email at work from a coworker that's um, blanking on the word, that triggers him. You know, someone sends like a snippy email. He doesn't turn around and send back an equally snippy email. He's like, okay, I don't know what their deal is. I'm going to sleep on it, and then I'll respond very professionally and with kindness because that's the mature thing to do. So really sort of coming into this phase where you're kind of really philosophical about things, you're making some practical changes, and you're letting things go, and it's again bringing this calm and balance into your life. So I hope you have a lovely December. It looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. And I'll see you at the next video. Take care.